RLS. So these guys have been, honestly, without bias, they've been one of my favorite teams. I think what makes these guys really strong is across the board they have reliable laners. With the introduction of Kauri, also has been a big benefit to them in that mid lane. Anti, great player. Win condition through War Leader is something they have worked on, even though War Leader has found himself in the support role this season. It shows the flexibility and the capability of this team to just put the right people in the right places at the right time. In certain instances that works, and it has really worked for them. They're flexible. It's hard to find a negative aspect, honestly, to the individuals on this team. I definitely think they got what it takes.
Player that I think is going to step up the most for our war here could be a good idea to look at Guilty. I mean, been amazing overall, has great champ pool, and that will make him stand out even better in the best of fives. But the question is, who's going to make the biggest advancement, not who's the best. And for that, it's obviously going to be a Riri. Riri's going to be making a huge improvement with the playoff buff. Definitely going to be the difference maker in the finals for sure. And a Riri is a solid pick for that step up improvement.
I think Tef is going to step up here. Why? I think that Tef has all the capabilities of being a real top AD carry in the league. Having the team play around that carry, whether it's the Ezreal, whether it's the Caitlyn, would open up those early game win conditions, the Dragon takes, the push and vision, making it very hard to actually gank that bot lane. And having Escape in there in the mix as well to aid Tef, it's an awesome synergy to watch it, and especially when it pops off.
Ariri is definitely going to be winning it this time. He's got the team, he's got the drive and the confidence. And I haven't been talking about Total Trash, the jungler, and it's pretty obvious that the previous shoes that were left by the old Art of War Esports jungler were huge, absolutely massive, and Total Trash has been doing a good job meeting those expectations.
Hello, folks, and welcome to the absolutely exciting matchup we have got running right here. We've got really late signups versus Art of War Esports. I am your friendly neighborhood podcaster, Stargan.
And hi, I'm Zen, and today we've got a really exciting match here. As you say, Sherrigan, this is an incredible banger. I expect that this game might go to 5. Art of War Esports and really late sign up, really close second and third seeds in our playoff run today, and already really interesting bands coming out. Trollsing You no longer going to have access to the Aatrox. The Xerath taken away from Guilty, and RLS with a B1 Udyr looking to kick things off really strong.
Yeah, no, Udyr is one of those champions. We haven't really seen too much of him in the heroic leagues, which is kind of surprising. I know that he's a champion that I feel like after that rework, it just took a little time for people to get used to him. So I expect we'll start seeing him popping up a lot more lately. We did have Sword Blue on the lounge earlier, so you should definitely go check that out. And he kind of gave some insights into this matchup. So it's going to be kind of exciting to see if his predictions end up playing out. I do like this Renata Glass pickup. It is something we have seen Ariri choose to take a lot. It's just kind of one of their more comfortable supports. And for a primary run and punch you in the face kind of champion, Udyr's not going to like running right into that hostile takeover.
Yeah, and, you know, RLS is a team that has been well established in the history of Friend or Foe. This is a team that plays beefy meatball guys. You know, War Leader's got an absolutely famous Sejuani and Zac. Anti, you know, often plays things like the Set. Now might be looking at this Udyr in the top side. And, you know, playing a character like Renata Glass that has this massive AoE sort of disengage ultimate is definitely to the benefit of Art of War. But I really like this pivot from RLS. Gonna slam Seraphine Senna. So they're saying, you know, we want to commit to this front to back. We want to out-sustain the crowd control that Art of War is providing. And I can't wait to see what Art of War is going to respond with here, because they need to have something that's going to answer the Seraphine.
And they're choosing, it looks like, to take the Kai'Sa, a interesting choice for ADC. I do like the champion. I feel like it's gotten into a pretty good spot lately. It doesn't necessarily have the range to match up versus a Senna as Senna starts getting those stacks off, but it will be able to like hard engage on her, because once you hit that W with those missiles and you get the Void procs, you'll be able to jump in on that back line with the ultimate. So there is some kind of able ways to reach that backline whenever it starts to pepper them, but it's still going to be kind of tricky. That Seraphine in general, though, is going to be really frustrating for Art of War to deal with in this game. And we can see right now that they believe that that's going to be a Senna Seraphine bot lane as they're taking away the Vex and Diana. So that's definitely something that they're kind of like maybe prepared for. Like that might have been something they expected to come out of this. It will be interesting to see what we see in these top lane matchups, because like you said, we know that Trollsing likes to take these beefy guys, and Ornn is a great example of that.
Yeah, so Ornn going to provide Art of War some much needed follow-up engage. You know, Total Trash on the Vi has a lot of agency to get in there, but maybe not enough damage to secure a kill. So you either are going to need dive buddies like amidst Kai'Sa, or you're going to need Ornn, you know, have that follow-up crowd control and really lock people down. And that's going to be the Set picked up for Anti, a classic pick up into the Ornn. So Anti going to be very happy with that one. This does commit Udyr into the jungle as well. well. Now we get to see where RLS wants to commit this Seraphine. This is already a very interesting draft for RLS because Seraphine is not a character I typically associate with them. Yeah, I didn't think it was going to Cowrie. Cowrie's picking up the bird, Azir going up in the mid lane, and that's going to mean Seraphine Senna in the bot side.
Okay, so up until the Azir pickup, I was totally on the side of RLS being like, great job, you've done fantastically, completely counter picking Art of War across the board. And then the Azir pops up. And the first thing that jumps out at me is there is no front line. Like, you're going to have the Udyr and the Set jumping in, kind of going in for those huge fights. And if Set gets tanky enough, he'll be able to soak up a lot of damage. But it's still going to be really, really tough even with that Haymaker shield to kind of survive any sort of dive on the backline. But then again, as I say that, we see the Akshan pick up on the side of Art of War, and we're still seeing no front line over there. So it's kind of like both sides, these last two picks are the Golden Shurima characters, and it's going to be a little bit scrappy across this board.
Yeah, it's very interesting. It feels like RLS has a slightly more centralized identity. They have these really long-range characters with the Senna and Azir, and they have some frontline for it, but the main thing that they have is they have healing power, right? This Seraphine is going to be absolutely essential to keeping their carries alive, and they're looking to sort of outlast the Art of War esports composition in these long front-to-back team fights.
And I think
I will say, though...
Okay.
Just really quick, that Art of War has drafted a really interesting composition. This Akshan for Guilty can do a ton of different things in this game. Akshan can side lane, and RLS doesn't necessarily want to split up their map all that much, so they have that as an option. He can also play somewhat back and just look to play resets and try to get those executes off that will allow his team the tempo to maybe play aggressively around the objectives.
Yeah, I think we're going to have to actually hop onto the riff and see how this ends up playing out. But that Akshan is also going to provide, like you were talking about, the long-term sustain from really light signups. If Akshan starts picking off those lower health members that took out his teammates, he's going to start bringing them back. Admittedly, they'll be all the way back at base, but that could end up turning the tide of some of these later team fights. So it'll be interesting to see. I'm a little hinky on that Azir pickup, just because the nature of Azir being such a mechanically intensive champion means oftentimes you're just kind of hyper focused on what you're currently doing, and you sometimes forget what's going on around you in the map, and so you don't necessarily make sure you get those roams off unless you have a really good shot caller saying, "Hey, Azir, wake up! You got a Vi about to ult your butt."
Yeah, I mean, I will say, though, that, speaking about these individual players, Cowrie has been one of the most mechanically talented players that we have seen in Heroic League. Had an absolutely incredible game on LeBlanc earlier in the season, has shown, a propensity to play characters like Zed and Vex who can really get in there and disrupt the enemy team. So if anyone's going to be able to do it, it's going to be Cowrie. My eyes in this match are immediately drawn to this mid lane because I think that Guilty has to get things done, right? Akshan is a character that has a ton of agency early game, can be extraordinarily powerful, and is a powerful counter pick into the Azir because you just tank the damage with the shield, and then you can win most trades. But Akshan falls off like a truck, and already we're gonna have to see what he wants to do to make his impact known before he falls off.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it already. And as we can see, this top lane immediately starting off with a scrap. Anti taking a decent chunk of damage as Ornn does kind of, just because they're tanky, has a little bit of an advantage early on, but it's not going to be massive. In the meantime, this bot lane, we're going to be seeing lots of peppering back and forth. I expect Riri to play this very aggressively, though. He's going to need to get in and make sure that they're able to take out that top. Look at this fight right now. Trolling getting brought very low. Anti getting a nice trade back from that earlier one.
Yeah, that's just the advantage of hitting level 2 first. Will pop both the potions available to Trolsing you. And remember, this is Set, a character who gets free sustain. So even though, Set is slightly lower on the HP bars after that first exchange, he's going to be totally happy to just go ahead and, sustain up and potentially even out-sustain Ornn, a character who traditionally is very hard to stop. But look at that fantastic unbreakable stoppage there. going to get another good trade. Trollsing really knows this character.
Great Bellows Breath. Trollsing seeing an opportunity, goes in, does dive, gets the flash. That's gonna be first blood for the Ornn as the Forge God picks it up. In the meantime, we got Total Trash jumping in on this bot lane. I believe popping a couple of summoner spells, both flashes from the bot laners. Very well played by the Ornn in the top lane.
Yeah, and AWE immediately with the runaround.
With the runaround, misses the Q though, but we are seeing Tef getting a lot of damage off, and because there's no flashes available, that means that the passive shots are gonna hit, and that is another double kill in the bot lane, and that immediately puts Art of War in the driver's seat.
Art of War looks so dominant.
What is going on here in this top lane?
Well, I mean, Trollsing, you know, unfortunately, this is one of the problems with topside. Like, you win the advantage, and then your opponent TP's back, and you're in trouble. But look at this. Guilty now is the target. Oh, fantastic. Just walks on out.
The hook shot to run away.
Oh, man. I'm so excited about this game. AWE looks so proactive in this early game, and that's exactly what you want to see against veterans like RLS, is, you know, to throw them off their game, to do exactly what you need to do to get early advantages with a composition that's going to get outscaled.
Yep, and you know, it's kind of funny. We are going to have to watch as this game plays out, because one thing Sword Blue did mention on the lounge is that oftentimes his team will troll him. They'll get the advantage and then suddenly not know what to do. So we got to be very, very cautious to keep an eye out for that exact sort of thing happening here, as we're already starting to see a little bit of the greed for the CS and the gold, putting Art of War in some of these precarious positions.
Yeah. And we can see as well, Trollsing you building up that big wave. Has Total Trash here, but Anti should know what's going on. Going to get spotted out by that pink ward. And you can see this mid lane matchup as well. You know, the advantage of Akshan is that he's an AD character, so he doesn't actually need that much mana to really push the wave. Whereas Cowrie, every time Cowrie wants to get a CS, they have to spend that mana. Is going to be forcing that early teleport. Good chunk of trading down on the bot side as well.
There are a lot of passive. Ooh, nice knock up. Huge haymaker coming out on Anti, as Trollsing you does manage to get a decent chunk of damage onto this set. And the set continues to fight it. And unfortunately, they're not going to be able to survive as the brittle smash breaks Set's heart. And that is going to be another kill as Anti is deleted.
And Anti is just dead in the water. With that death, he's lost about 2 waves to the turret, and he already burned his teleport on the first solo kill. Trollsing you, I think, is definitively the best top laner in this league. He has looked absolutely dominant. Picks up this plated steel claps as well on the recall, so going to be incredibly difficult for Anti to come back from this without some support from the Udyr.
You know, if he was playing Scion, I'd say there's a Jarvan the third joke to be put in there. But yeah, he definitely seems to have taken the crown from Anti. And the fact that he's destroying Anti right now on set, which is a champion he's very comfortable with, which means Art of War is going to be very comfortable going into this 5-game series. Cowrie getting caught out in the river, having to dash over the wall, does mean that Akshan does have priority here. And here we're starting to see a little bit of problems I personally have with Udyr as a jungler. He needs time to kind of come online before he's able to start really ganking these lanes. And unfortunately, his team has not been able to create the priority Udyr needs to be able to force fights. And Vi has been taking major advantage of that.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting. You look across this team, and Udyr would like to be able to get this gank set up, but he has a losing lane topside. It's not usually a losing lane, but that's what it is right now. He also loses the push in mid lane, so it's very difficult for him to really get something proactive. But Trollsing you, popping the ult.
Of the Forge God. Oh, huge showstopper means that that's going to find a connection, but the Bellows Breath means that they are going to get a decent brittle block and some huge damage right there. We do have Guilty ready to assist, going in on the Udyr. Udyr has gotten slowed, so his speed is not there. He's trying to get away. Akshan diving in with that hook shot, does throw out the flash. The ignite is down. We are not going to see another set of kills, but that is a lot of summoner spells burned, and unfortunately 2 of them were on Guilty.
Yeah, Guilty unable to find what he wanted there, and that's actually going to be huge in terms of resetting the tempo in mid lane. Cowrie already going to pick up a plate, as you see on your mini-map there, and Guilty forced to stay here as well and help push out this wave. So this is a big, big win for the Azir, who wants to scale up and take that time, and War Leader may be looking for a fight once again.
They probably are. Trolling you taking advantage that is going to get stunned, pulled in by the double tap. And unfortunately, there is not going to be enough for Anti to follow up on that. So that means that if it's going to go over to the side of Art of War, and they continue to maintain control of this lane, they continue to maintain control of this tempo, and Guilty's just going to go sneaky time back to the mid lane.
He's going to wander his way down there. Is not going to be spotted out thanks to his invisibility. But, the damage has already been done, right? Kaori able to reset the CS lead and pick up a plate for themselves is going to be quite happy. Manages to get a good back as well. Finishes the lost chapter as well as the refillable potion. So Azir is now in the position where they can stand toe-to-toe, right? The early levels have passed. And in addition to this awkward reset, War Leader might be able to pick up and sneak this Rift Herald as a reward for the side of RLS. So things looking up for them.
Okay, interesting thing to note here is that Kaiza has opted to pick up a late cull, so they're going to go ahead and get that in order to try and delay some damage, delay some items to get some extra gold later. Interesting choice. I do think that they're in a very comfortable position to be able to do that, so that's definitely something that they'll want to do. And as we can see, the bot lane is just very clearly going over for the side of Art of War. They're just sitting pretty right now.
Yeah, I mean, I would say as well that, in this particular matchup, you're dealing with two enchanter supports, effectively. You have, two characters that can heal one another. It is incredibly difficult for a Riri and a mid to get an advantage here without a jungler coming in. I say that, and Total Trash is already on the move, but here comes Azir as well. This is going to be an interesting scrap.
It really is. It's going to be kind of not interesting to see if the Shuriman god is able to do anything. In the meantime, Trolling you just trolling Anti and avoiding getting pulled in, dodging a Haymaker. He's done such a fantastic job so far.
Here we go.
Hostile takeover. Does manage to catch Escape out. Escape's going to have to flash over the wall to stay alive, and that is going to be huge, as that is another summoner spell down.
Yeah, and this is exactly what Total Trash wants to do. Wants to continue to show up to that bot side and apply that pressure, because without it, Mid and Riri don't have kill pressure. However, this Senna is extraordinarily vulnerable to a repeat gank, as we've already seen. And you can see, actually, both junglers still hanging around on that bot side of the map, so definitely something to be considerate about.
Yep, Vi is spotted out by a ward. Udyr is already there, so we're going to be seeing a 3v3 in this bot lane. Vi's going to dash away, though, to avoid getting caught out. So that's not going to be a huge gank. That's a really good counterplay by War Leader. Unfortunately, Anti does not have the same sort of situation, taking a lot of damage from this Ornn.
Trolling you has done his studies. He knows the exact timing he needs in order to hit, maximize the damage of Ornn, and also maximize that invulnerability where he is unaffected by the Haymaker. He's just been so good at canceling the stun from Anti, and it's consistently led to him having a massive health advantage. Anti really struggling to find his footing, at least so far in game 1 of this series.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. It's like, but that's just the thing that that's just what this is. This is just game number 1 of a 5-game series, so we can very easily see some things changing up. I have a feeling we won't be seeing Ornn next game, so that's you've got to make sure that Trolling takes advantage of this. At the same time, it's just this lane is just going not the way I sort of expected. I do think the items are kind of funny, but that's just because of the fact that neither of these guys have had a chance to back lately.
Yeah, I mean, Trolling does have the advantage of the Ornn passive, but we don't have time to talk about that because Dragon is spawning and both teams are immediately rushing down here. The Rift Herald early picked up will help out.
Whoa, good assault and battery coming out from Vi. They are able to get multiple targets. They're going to have to dive in on the backline. They do manage to take out Senna. They're losing a lot of help, but that huge hostile takeover does mean that War Leader does not
Total Trash!
Them. The bailout does not manage to save Vi. However, we're seeing huge amounts of damage coming out from this Kai'Sa as a mid. Just gets multiple passive procs off.
Guilty
and
has
another
reset.
target is taken down. In the meantime, a fight in the top lane results in Anti getting taken down again. Already
Guilty has reset.
Value. The huge shield from the Senna ultimate does not save either of their members. And that is effectively an ace.
5 members picked up for AWE. What fantastic play. Total Trash able to make a hero move. Gets the initial hit onto Escape to chunk him low. And then very correctly uses their lockdown ability, the ultimate, formerly called Assault and Battery, to override the Seraphine ultimate, continue to put out pressure, continue to get damage down, and that's all that AW needs to get the remaining members into that team fight and start to overpower with their gold advantage. Already up to a 4,000 gold lead. Seasoned assist. Thank you, observers. I appreciate it. 13 minutes in, and AWE, I mean, this team looks incredible.
Yeah, Relentless Force and Cease and Desist are the two abilities. It's like I always forget that. It's just you're so used to the oh god, what was that band that had the song with the denting blows in there? I'm blanking on that. Either way, great piece right there. And then we've got this huge fight here in the top lane. Ooh, if that had been a hit, that would have been another dead anti, I think. Either way, he's gonna get chased down by Trollsing here right here. The Bellows Breath just doing so much damage. The Brittle damage is absolutely disgusting on Ornn. You've got War Leader there to try and help. I don't know if he's going to get there in time, but you have a massive shield that's just going to keep him alive for a couple of seconds. Guilty's going to get caught under tower, though, and we are going to see him taken down. So unfortunately, there's going to be no resurrect from this fight, and War Leader manages to get himself something out of that.
Yeah, War Leader doing a great job supporting the struggling topside, manages to body block Guilty and prevent him from getting out of there. Will mean, a slight victory. And once again, Kaori continuing to get extra plates in that mid lane, continuing to farm up is good. Is going to take the first turret of the game. But look at this, Ahmed and Ariri looking for blood.
They're looking for this fight. We got the charms coming out. We got the huge hostile takeover. We do see Escape putting some damage onto his ally. It's not going to be a lot, though. Ariri's going to be caught right on the edge here. They don't have flash available. They're going to be taken down. Kaori picking that up. And that is going to be a nice bit of gold in the Burbman's pocket. However, we got Ornn here joining in on this fight. A nice knockup, picking up 3 members as he comes in on the back line. And that's going to be total trash. We've got Kaori taken out as Renata Glass is revived. Seraphine taken away as well. And that is going to be devastating to a fight that was clearly going for RLS. But unfortunately, Art of War used their abilities against them.
Yep, so watch this. AWE actually wants to start this fight off, but a huge combo from Tef manages to get Amid so low that they can't really be effective. This teleport is absolutely hilarious. Amid just walks away. He just walks past where Kaori was. Ariri, of course, will go down, but then we have the re-engage, right? Akshan getting that additional move speed allows him to reach the fight faster than anticipated, and Trollsing you, I mean, what a fantastic ultimate. Able to lock down 3, will be able to secure the kill onto Escape, and from this point, it's easy running for Guilty, able to clean this fight up. War Leader will pick up a second kill on the backside, but still, 3 for 2 for AWE, and they keep their momentum going in this game.
That is going to be a nice chunk of damage onto this bot tower, slowly cracking this open. We've seen mid tower fall to the Azir because Akshan's been rotating around and everywhere, but it's still clearly by this gold lead in Art of War's favor. They are perfectly fine with losing that first tower. And so now it's just a matter of time before this game starts cracking open even more. We are starting to see the scaling, though, coming out as Senna's picking up damage thanks to the passive. You've got Seraphine, who's just always going to be useful as this game progresses, and they start getting items in their pocket. And Udir's slowly going to start deleting health bars.
Anti. How does he get out of this one?
I don't know, because I don't think there's a way out of it. We're going to see the Haymaker thrown, Showstopper thrown out as well. He's trying to get out of there. He's going every which way, trying to use his abilities. Unfortunately, he's going to get knocked down into this alcove, using the Blast Cone, just launches him right into the air, and Kai'Sa uses her skeet shooting shots and just takes him out. And that is going to be a easy Rift Herald call coming out from Art of War. And then they're probably going to just end up putting that mid in order to get a multiple tower push.
Yeah, I mean, AWE just seems to be on the right side of the map every single time. They were already in the process of transitioning their top or their bottom lane to the top side in order to contest that Rift Herald, and the fact that Anti, was there hitting the tower was just a freebie on the path. So they're very happy with that. Meanwhile, War Leader, doing his best to try and mitigate by trying, play the cross map and maybe get some vision down on that bot side. But with Dragon not spawning for another minute, they're going to have plenty of time to continue to press the advantage. Another turret falls, and they have the Rift Herald to slam into the mid lane.
That's going to be the second mid lane turret. It's going to take a chunk of damage. They're going to choose to just kind of run off from it. We do have Dragon coming up here in about 45 seconds. So that's kind of one of those things where they're like, look, let's just kind of set up vision, get ready for this. Because if we can make this a 4 Dragon shutout, then we will absolutely love that. They don't want to let RLS pick up any of these Infernal Drakes. Just a little bit of extra damage is going to be really devastating to them. War leader right now is trying to look for an engage, does not realize they're about to walk onto a ward.
Yeah, and again, they're doing such a great job controlling vision. And, as we take stock before this fight happens, AWE looking very, very good. Double Kraken Slayer completed, and they're looking for
Total Trash is like, it's fine that the jungler's right there because he's not going to save you. Jumping right in on that. Hostile Takeover only manages to catch a couple members of RLS. They aren't able to actually get a massive amount of damage off, though. But that's perfectly fine. It just causes them to push off from this dragon. And so now that is going to be a quick Infernal take. And that is a 3rd dragon putting Art of War on Dragon Point. Soul Point.
This is why Vi is AWE Total Trash's most picked champion in ranked. They look so gosh darn comfortable on it. They know exactly where to find those picks, and they know to be there ahead of time. And, RLS has drafted this composition that wants to brawl, that wants to have 5 members all together, grouped up, fighting the front to back. And time again, AWE doesn't give them that opportunity to get into that death ball. They just fight them before they're ready. And this is accelerated to about a 3,000 gold lead and triple dragon stacked for AWE.
Triple Dragon stacked, another hour under their belt. I mean, Art of War is just sitting pretty right now on this massive gold lead. They've got 4.5 on top, basically 4K on top of RLS, which is just very, very comfortable to be sitting on. There's no real objectives on the map, so they can just shove these waves, take these jungle camps, and just keep on building themselves up. We've already got every team member has got their mythic completed. We do see Senna still working on theirs. It's the second item pickup, though, so they've only got the Umbral Glaive. Unfortunately, the vision control just is not on their side. We've been seeing it much more effectively placed, in my opinion, by Art of War. So that has been one of the key factors in a lot of these fights.
No, Anti. Not like this. Not like
Yes,
this. Not
it's
like
happening
this.
again. Deja vu. We are going to see a massive haymaker, but the showstopper does not go over the wall. The Senna ultimate is going to find multiple members, and it's going to be a nice shield on top. And look at this. We are seeing RLS turn it around. Huge as War Leader and Tef have both joined this fight. That is exactly what RLS needs to be doing, coming to the aid of their top laner. And we have 4 members there. But unfortunately, that means that Ord is allowed to free push this bot lane. Does get it into the tower, but doesn't do a lot of damage yet. So now we're having Set go and try and block that off.
Yeah, our Anti doing a great job managing to live, has access to that Gore Drinker, and between that and the massive shield, he was able to just barely live it out. And I have to say, AWE unable to capitalize on that moment. I really like that initiative. They're continuing to push the tempo in this game, which is what they have to do if they want to win, because again, Senna scales forever. Cowrie's Azir is going to be a 6-item monster. Tef's Seraphine, can just heal entire health bars in the late game. So AWE, credit to continue to maintain the pressure. RLS doing a great job trying to fight back in those pockets where they can.
We are starting to see the problem with Art of War's comp when you compare it to RLS, because they are the really late signups, the really late scalers. That is exactly what they want. They want to drag this game out as much as possible, and we're already almost 21 minutes into this game, and it's starting to look a little shaky for Art of War. They've got to finish this game out quickly, because otherwise, like you said, they're going to have multiple members on the side of RLS that are just going to start doing so much damage from a distance that there's very little they'll be able to do.
Yeah. I'd like to see Art of War. It looks like they're continuing to play for this dragon stacking plan, which is perfectly all right. I'd like to see them as well perhaps transition some of their vision up towards the Baron in the next few minutes, just because now that you're on Dragon Soul Point, you have the possibility of trading that dragon for a Baron Nashor, which would perhaps open the possibility of cracking the base. So AWE has a very crucial decision point to make as they make their what is likely to be their last recall before these objectives come up. Where do we want to commit our vision? If we go towards that top side, we can maybe secure the Baron. If we go towards that bot side, we're itching for a fight and committing to duking it out with RLS, just expecting our money to carry us forward. And that said, that is not a bad plan. 2 items picked up, completed for both Guilty and a mid. They have looked absolutely, extremely powerful, and this is the fight where they want to take.
And I'd also like to see some itemization against this RLS comp, because you do have multiple members with healing. You have multiple members with shields. Nice knockup coming out from Anti, but they've got so much healing thanks to that Gore Drinker. And unfortunately, Trolling You does not have a Thornmail yet. They've got the 2 cloth armor and to build into the Bramble Vest, so it looks like that's the direction they're going. But unfortunately, they just don't have the Grievous Wounds in order to prevent the set from healing up. I'd also kind of like to see a Serpent's Fang, because you've got a lot of shields on Tef, Senna, Set that would be absolutely devastated if they suddenly lose the ability to be that tanky.
All right, here we are, exactly where we were 1 minute ago. And look at this, total trash once again in the bush. This time, it is War Leader who leads the fray. RLS has learned from their previous mistakes and is allowing their front line to lead first. So already AWE not in as commanding a position as they set up for this dragon, and it is RLS who is chasing into the river first.
They are chasing into the river first, but we do have Trolling You, and you have RLS all completely pumped up, which Trolling does see.
Oh!
They're not able to hit the ultimate. That is going to be devastating, as it's absolutely huge. We see the Senna ultimate drop. That's a lot of shielding coming out right there, and a huge charm. Tef was able to catch multiple members. We are seeing now all the damage, though, coming out from this Senna, ripping through the health bars of Art of War. RLS is in this, boys. They are here. Guys, gals, and other pals, you better strap in, because this game is not over yet.
Yeah, watch this. Watch how confidently RLS walks in and takes control of the central area. This is so critical because AWE is unable to find a good setup. Their teammates are entirely stacked in awkward parts of the map. Ariri is in this back. Amid is over here. Guilty is trying to go for this back flank. A fantastic route from Escape kicks this off. Trolling You unable to find that advantage. And look at this ultimate from Tef. Completely shuts down the backside. Anti able to find those key carries. And from there, there's nothing that AWE can do. They don't have the sustained damage to secure any of these kills because of that healing coming through that Seraphine as well as the Senna. Means that RLS finds the opportunity that they needed and will pick up their first dragon of the game.
And that right there is exactly what Coach Sword Blue talked about on the lounge. He was talking about his team trolling him, and I think that is exactly what happened here. Unfortunately, they were not prepared for that fight. They had the advantage, and now it is slowly slipping through their grasp. Their 4K gold lead has decreased now to just 1.
Yeah, and I have to give a huge credit to the members of RLS, for finding the fight and being willing to take it. Anti, has had a rough game so far. Started out, I want to say 0-5, has now found his first 2 kills of the game, and he did so with so much confidence, knowing that he could take that fight against those backline carries, able to find a mid and a Riri, and that's exactly what he needs to propel himself into the game, and is exactly what his teammates will need him to do for every single fight moving forward.
Yeah. All right. And now we have the pressure being shifted over to this Baron, like you were mentioning. Is like they may have wanted to just trade that dragon for this Baron. So now we're gonna see another fight probably break out over here. And unfortunately, I think Art of War might be in a little bit of a scary spot because their items are not online. They're kind of like at their halfway point, and the spikes have hit on the side of RLS, so they're not quite able to fight against each other, against the really late signups. Art of War is kind of stuck, so it's going to be really, really risky to kind of contest a lot of these objectives.
Yeah, I mean, one credit to AWE, the heal cut has finally gone online. Chempug Chainsword completed for Total Trash as well. But they want to, what they would like to do is they would like to find some picks, continue to leverage the stealth from Akshan and Total Trash's fantastic positioning thus far to really establish control. But, RLS, they finally have those tools that might enable them to push out and get additional vision. And I really like that RLS has immediately put pink wards in that topside river, because now they know that they can safely approach this Baron without having to face check this Vi once again, which is what put them in so much trouble in the first place.
Exactly. And they know that Vi is over by the Dragon Pit clearing out that vision, which means, hey, we're just going to start up this Baron and just hit it. Got a TP coming out right now that is going to reveal they are on the Baron right now, but they're burning it down quickly enough that it's going to be really tough for Art of War to get into position to contest it effectively. We do see the Ornn ultimate getting dropped. It's going to get thrown
it's
out,
stunned again!
but it's not going to get knocked up as we do see the stun coming out. But look at this. Unfortunately, the positioning is not on the side of RLS this time. War Leader's going to get
needs a reset.
The assist as the Vi chases him down. Huge amounts of healing completely shut down by that Chempunk or by the Kai'Sa right there. Does manage to pick it up. Tef getting hit with the missiles. We are going to see a huge push here in this mid lane. The Baron was taken, so we do have it left over. But unfortunately, the Ace is going to come out, so there is no member left alive with it.
Yeah, AWE sees their moment and pounces. And, you know, RLS, they have all this healing power, but they took the reduced resistances from fighting the Baron, and it makes it even harder to fight this AWE squad. I cannot believe that a mid got behind the enemy team and was able to do so much damage so safely on this Kai'Sa in that exchange. Ultimately, they're able to burst out a couple of members, and RLS's composition is like a well-tuned machine. And once those cogs start to break apart, the entire, the entire clock falls, so to say. And ultimately, AWE find their moment and take away the first in-hit.
Yeah, great killer instinct on a mid, able to get into that back line. And you love seeing it. So now that they've managed to take out the Baron buff and just, it's like, okay, yes, Baron is gone. It's not on the field, but nobody's got the buff anymore, so that's fine. They've got to get over to this dragon and set up vision around it because we've got a minute before it spawns. And unfortunately, they can't, Art of War cannot afford to let RLS gain an advantage here. They've got to make sure they get it. And it's going to be really, really tough if they lose yet another Infernal Drake.
Yeah, this is really interesting because, once again, RLS is the team who has the first push into the river. So it is AWE who needs to find a way to push forward, which is something that is difficult for characters like Renata Glask and like Guilty to find. RLS doing a great job of holding the river. It looks like AWE might try to push through the mid lane instead and continue to leverage those super minions. This is a really tense situation. Dragon spawning in about 10 seconds.
Yep, right here we've got Oriri getting caught out. We have the Ornn dropping the ultimate. Is going to find multiple members. There's somebody there. A mid with a killer instinct diving in on the backline, picking up. We see Guilty going on a rampage. A mid does manage to take down Seraphine. Tef is out of the equation. That's a lot of shielding and healing that's gone. These health bars are disappearing on the side of RLS. So while they did manage to get out Oriri, they are going to lose multiple members. And a great call coming out from Art of War is they're like, look, we can take the dragon. That's not a good idea. If we let them continue, we are going to lose this game. They are going for the end. Can they take the base quick enough? It is 12 seconds until we've got one more member of RLS coming back up. And I don't think Escape and Tef are going to be able to get there in time. There it is. The Nexus exposed. Damage is out. And that is going to be game one going over to Art of War Esports.
Art of War Esports looked so gosh darn good in this game, Sherrigan. I cannot believe how well this team played around what they needed to accomplish. They knew going into this that RLS wanted a grouped, stacked front to back. So what do? They create absolute chaos, right? They have Guilty finding flank after flank on the auction. This pickup of the Kai'Sa for a mid was absolutely massive because now you don't have to take the front to back. You can just get directly on top of Escape and Tef and blow them up before they're allowed to do that healing. It just felt to me that AWE surgically, demonstrated mastery of this composition, and things are going to have to change as we go later into the series.
Yeah, I expect we're going to see a lot of ban rotations coming out in this next set, so that'll be really interesting to see what ends up getting taken away. I don't expect we'll be seeing the Ornn again. I feel like that put Anti on a little bit too much of a back foot. It's going to be really, really interesting, though, because there's so many options Trollzen can use in order to kind of come back into this. So either way, this is going to be really exciting. I'm looking forward to the next set of games. So we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back. Don't go away.